Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to speak on Sears. I've touched on Sears in a couple of other videos, and I'm mainly trying to point out the fact that we are in a desperate situation in this country, especially with home ownership. Now, me personally, I don't believe in owning land. I think land belongs to the earth and not to us. I think land belongs to the wildlife, to the galaxy, to the universe, and not to us. I don't think that we should support the ownership of land as it is practiced today. I just don't believe, I just don't think it's right for whoever has the most money get to buy the land and push everybody who can't afford the land off the land. Like we all stuck on this earth. Like if the poor people can go to a free planet, they probably would. But where can they go? So Sears made it possible for the average able-bodied man, whether he was a farmer or a factory worker, to own a home. And they made it possible by removing the middleman. And the middleman were the contractors, the subcontractors, the builders, whoever else was involved in the construction of the home. So Sears made it available for able-bodied men to build their own home with a few friends, some family members, co-workers, or whoever to help you build a home. Small homes, you can do it in 1 or 2 days. Your larger homes that had more materials, more design features, took 30, 60, 90 days, depending on the time of year, the weather, and how much time you had available. So in a minute, we're going to listen to a lady that was born in those times, and she's going to recount her story of Sears. So I'm going to play the video in between reading some of the news article. So let me read. Thanks to the internet, you can buy just about anything online and have it shipped to you in a few days or less. The process is reminiscent of the early 1900s, when people turned to mail order catalogs to find things to buy. And amazingly, for the time, they could even order homes via catalogs. Sears, once America's largest retailer, was just one company that sold homes this way. Now that its parent company has filed for bankruptcy, owners of some of those homes are lamenting the end of the Sears era. You realize you live in an example of what Sears was able to accomplish back in the day when they were the biggest catalog seller in the country, says Andrew Much, who owns a Sears home outside Detroit. See, so Sears was the Amazon of its day, you know, and it took a lot of creativity, a lot of ingenuity, a lot of thought to put together a catalog and mail it across the country. So people can look in the catalog and basically dream of a better life, dream of prosperity, dream of better times. That's what the catalog was about. It was a book of dreams, and it was a book of hope. You know, and it happened during the Industrial Revolution. You know, when people was acquiring more money, you know, they had the soldiers was coming home from World War One, and you know they dreamed of better times. So let's listen.
Sears has filed for bankruptcy. The company, which also owns Kmart, hopes to keep the lights on through the holidays and reorganize. It's a new low for a retailer that shaped the country's shopping culture. NPR's Alina Selyuk has this look back. In the black and white photo that Gail Reese sent to me, she's about 4 years old. It's 1955. She's wearing a swing skirt with suspenders, looking up shyly at Santa Claus at the hottest store in town, Sears.
It was the store. We had Sears and we had Pennies.
Reese's father, John Daniel Reese, worked for Sears for 20 years in Tyler, Texas. He joined after World War II, when department stores in smaller towns were still mainly downtown on Main Street.
Back in the day, in the 50s, early 60s, all we had was downtown. And that was Sears. It was electronics and TVs and clothing and fabric and shoes and the department store.
In those days, Sears was the reigning king of retail, a chain that grew out of a watch and jewelry catalog company started in the 19th century. It was the shopping disruptor of its day. It brought commerce to the doorsteps of families living on farms and in remote communities, paving the way for the mail order boom of the 20th century, and in a way, the online shopping we know today. Sears is even credited with the idea of the department store parking lot.
The tradition at that point was street parking.
Vicki Howard wrote a book on the rise of the American department store called From Main Street to Mall.
Because they're such a long-lived firm, that their existence sort of paralleled a lot of different changes.
Over the century, Sears tried a lot of things. It launched Kenmore Appliances, Craftsman Tools, Allstate Insurance. It bought stockbroker Dean Witter and real estate firm Coldwell Banker. It introduced the Discover card.
See, guys? So, Sears was revolutionary for its time. There was a disruptor. They introduced innovative products, new concepts, new beliefs. And so they had their time in the spotlight. So let's continue to read. It says, in its first catalog in 1888, Sears sold watches and jewelry. The catalogs proved to be popular, and over time, different products were added and tested, including houses. See, that's the same thing with Amazon. Amazon had a small catalog when it first started, and they mostly sold books. So Sears started with watches and jewelry. Amazon started with books. It says, the Sears Modern Homes catalog debuted in 1908, and it offered all the material and blueprints needed to build a house. The pieces that arrived in the mail were meant to fit together sort of like Legos, so buyers could build the houses themselves or hire contractors. You would order everything from your light fixtures to your lamp, the wall coverings, kitchen cabinets, the whole thing, whether you get a garage or not, and then just shipped it to you. Sears was not the first company to offer mail order kits. But by the time the catalogs was discontinued in 1940, Sears is estimated to have sold between 70 and 75,000 houses. Let's listen.
Most famous Sears creation was always the catalog.
At the end of the summer, we would get the giant Sears catalog, and my mom would say, go through and see what you like. And of course, I would circle everything.
Laura Gruer-Nathan grew up on a farm in New Hampshire in the 80s. She says her family didn't shop much, so gifts from Sears were very exciting.
I felt like we had just shopped on Madison Avenue. I felt like $1 million.
Around that time in the 80s, Sears was known as the one-stop shop for everything, from socks to lawnmowers. But then came the generation of the big box stores.
See? And so they also represented Walmart of their day. One-stop shop. So, things have changed, of course. The competition has increased. Now you have, physical and online retailers. So you have so many options. And these options have created a huge mess for Americans. Because along with all these options came the banks with their credit. Now Americans are in massive debt. The country is in massive debt with cars, credit cards, and houses. And Americans are just spending money like crazy on vacations, holidays, birthdays, Christmas, And so with all these options and the convenience of online shopping in a major city, not far from most homes like Walmart and Target, people just spending themselves into unconsciousness. So let's read. The homes originally cost between a few $100s and a few thousand. For the Martha Washington model, for example, originally sold for between 2,000 and 4,000, or the equivalent today is $35,000 to $50,000. See, so today a lot of these homes, this all they should be costing, guys. A lot of these homes today, all they should be costing is between, I'm gonna say, $50,000 and $100,000 at most, and at minimum $40,000 to $50,000 or $40,000 to $60,000. All you need is a shelter over your head. That's all you need. Somewhere to lay your body down, lay down, and then the objective is to enjoy the earth, not become a prisoner of your home. The objective is to live outside and enjoy nature. But so many people have become prisoners of their home, which now they are also prisoners of their job and prisoners of the bank. So men and women used to go to work to provide for their families. When I say provide for their families, I'm talking about clothing, food, shelter. The shelter was an asset to the family. Now the shelter is a liability. People are going to work for the house. Okay, let's read. Some mail order house enthusiasts estimate that about 7% of Sears houses are still standing today. So let's take a look at some of the houses, guys. See, here's the house right here. This is the blueprint from the house between 1908 and 1940. And this is the actual house that was built. If you was riding down the street and you saw this house, you would not know that this house was ordered through a mail catalog and built by the homeowner. You wouldn't know that. Here's another house. This is a 5-room neat porch. It's called the Crescent, and it costs $1,000. Here's the house today. Here's the house today, guys. Today, this house may sell for $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000, maybe even $1 million. That's how bad of a condition the financial situation is for most Americans. See? Here's the blueprint and the picture of a home. See, these houses were built and then they were taken down and shipped to the homeowner. So they have the pictures of the homes that were built. And here's the actual house. It don't say how much this house costs. Let's see how much the other one costs. Okay, that one's $1,300. And this one was, I can't tell how much that one was. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, here's the house right here. This one is the Alhambra. It costs $2,000 to build to buy this house. Of course, you had to have sweat equity, manual labor to get the house, built on your property. But these houses are still standing because they built whole neighborhoods like this. So when you build your house, your neighbor helped you build your house, and then you help your neighbor build his house. And then you help your neighbor across the street build their house. And all the neighbors and friends and family help build each other homes. That's what it was about. They wasn't buying it for an investment and sell shit on Wall Street. They was buying a house to live in as a community, as friends and families. They shared each other's dreams. They probably even helped finance each other's homes. They probably loaned each other money and all kinds of things because they were friends. They worked together. They dealt with problems together. They solved problems together. Somebody might have had a drinking problem. One of them might have been a wife beater. His car might have been broken down. Like, everybody was handy. They were mechanics. They were carpenters. They were welders. They were steel mill workers, lumber workers. Everybody had a skill, and very few of them graduated from high school. But most of them were very, very intelligent, with farm equipment, with animals. See? But now we got a society full of dummies. Just consumers. Let's continue. So here's the house, guys. This is the Alhambra, $2,000. Here's the actual house right here. See, guys? So let's listen.
Walmart overtook Sears as the largest retailer in the country. Home Depot became the dominant place to shop for home improvement and appliances. Bad headlines kept coming for Sears.
Sears Roebuck and Companies announced it's selling off most of the financial services empire it tried to build during the 1980s.
Sears managers are selling the tower. Sears Roebuck and Company is going to shut down its almost century-old catalog operation.
The catalog was a dinosaur in the era of Amazon. Sears was actually one of the early stores to create a website, but it didn't do well. In 2004, Sears was, of all things, bought by Kmart, which had just survived its own bankruptcy. And since then, in a slow downward spiral, Sears became a showcase of the decline of the American mall.
I don't really think that there's too much that could have been done to avoid their current state. This has been a long time coming.
New CEO, hedge fund manager Eddie Lampert, has bailed out Sears a few times with his own money, but never figured out a long-term strategy. In recent years, Sears and Kmart closed more than 1,000 stores. They sold off the Craftsman brand. The company has not turned a profit since 2010. Gail Reese, whose father worked for Sears in Texas in the 50s and 60s, says she's sad that the company that shaped her childhood is dying. But she also says she stopped shopping there herself about 10 years ago. Alina Selyuk, NPR News.
See, guys? And that's how an American corporation fails. Because things change. Sometimes it can change for the better, sometimes it can change for the worse. And I think both happened in this case with Sears, with Kmart, with your 5 and dime stores, with your local downtown stores, that a lot of people don't go down to the local downtown stores anymore. Now you have a Dollar Tree or Dollar General in these stores. In corporate America, their number one objective on earth is to squeeze out the little guys, to underpay you and overwork you. So now there's more money in the economy. There are more millionaires to squeeze you out. There wasn't as many millionaires back then. So it was harder to squeeze out the little guy. But now, there are a lot of millionaires and they're buying up the property, guys. And they're going to make it worse and worse and worse and worse for the average worker, the blue-collar worker. Let's read. I can drive 5 minutes, or I can ride my... Oh, no. Let's go back to the top. It's right here. Eric Romaine owns one of them, a Valania model in Royal Oak, Michigan. And his area in particular has quite a few kid homes. I can drive 5 minutes, or I can ride my bike and see 6 different model homes that are identical to mine, he says. Romaine says Sears homes are more or less like other catalog sold homes of their era, but their stories and their role in helping grow the middle class are what make them notable. Being middle class and being able to go and buy a home that you can build with your own hands make the houses special, he says. Romaine has found memories of the Sears store where he grew up in Saginaw, Michigan. He used to go there with his dad to buy craftsman tools. It was part of the landscape of the shopping mall growing up. Romaine said, if it closes, he says, I cannot even fathom what that will be like. So here's the home right here. See? An old photo of Romaine's home he found at his local library, the one at the top, compared to with the catalog image for the Valonia model, the one at the bottom. That's the catalog at the bottom, and that's the actual house at the top. See, guys? Much and his wife, Mute, I guess that's Mute, and his wife, Wendy, run the Kit House Hunters blog, where they share the work they and other researchers have done to identify kit homes around the country. Much found a Hamilton-style house in Novi, Michigan back in 2003. It was one of the homes in the original model homes catalog of 1908. Although this particular one was built in 1926. So here you have a home that's almost 120 years old, still standing. And it was built by probably an uneducated but skilled laborer. Probably a farmer. 1908, he was probably a farmer. Or he might have been a carpenter, but he wasn't quote unquote educated. I'm assuming this because that was the time frame. Sears Hamilton home was one of the first models offered in the Modern Homes debut catalog in 1908, $2,000. And you can have somebody to build it for you for a total of $3,000, including the home, 10-room resident. See, guys, so I'm not going to finish reading all this. Oh, maybe I will. Let's see. When Much, I hate these names, man. When Much purchased the home, he received a rather unusual housewarming gift from the previous owners, a binder of information on Sears homes. He says he already knew it was a Sears home since he bought the property from friends, but that he purchased it for its character. Much began researching Sears homes after the son of the house's original owners reached out to him and shared photos of the house under construction. It was that interaction that motivated him to research Sears kit homes. I realized not only was this a house, but there's this whole story behind the house, Much says. I associated Sears with this big, iconic brand that everybody knew. It wasn't some obscure store. Every town had a Sears store, Much says. It had been there forever. He isn't old enough to remember Sears in his prime, but he says he and other kit homeowners are saddened by the company's financial troubles. So here's a home right here, the Hamilton model home, now owned by Andrew Much, under construction in Novi, Michigan. It's pictured in 1926, and there it is today. 1926 and today. Okay, guys, that's it for that video. Thank you for staying around. Hold on, guys. Thank you for staying around, guys. And remember, guys, you can do whatever you want in your heart. You have to remember that the universe is always giving gifts to those who listen, who pay attention. The universe is abundant. It has limitless gifts to give, blessings to give. If you were born and you have a reality in this universe, you can manifest your dreams. They're everywhere. They're online, they're in books, and they're in your friends and family. You can manifest whatever you want. You got to dream big and you have to believe. Just like the Americans at the turn of the century did. They believed that they can build a house with their hands, and they did it. Of course, they didn't have as many choices that we have. That's why choices can sometimes be a hindrance to your creativity when you have too many choices. But when you don't have that many choices, you are forced to be creative. You are forced to adapt. You are forced to think outside the box. You are forced to dream big because no one's going to dream for you. So you have to create your own dreams. And in this particular case, you was able to order your dream through the mail in a catalog. And you was able to build your dream with your own hands from scratch. Okay, guys, until next time, guys, remember to download what do I normally say? I cannot remember what I normally say. Lord have mercy. Anyway, it has something to do with unplugging from the matrix. Debugging and unplugging from the matrix. Because we're all being brainwashed into thinking that we can't get anything done without a government entity. Without some outsider coming in and tell us how we need to do things. Okay, guys. Anyway, guys. Remember, guys. Live a wholesome life, guys. Remember, keep your life clean. Keep your car clean. Keep your body clean. Keep your mind clean. Keep your diet clean, guys. Remember to drink plenty of spring water to flush out the toxins, the chemicals, and the poisons in the food supply. Guys, you're all being poisoned. You're being micro-poisoned every day. Not just with the food, but also with the pharmaceuticals. And since you're operating in your lower self, you're also poisoning your children and your pets. Until next time, guys, I'm Country Band 777, and I'm signing off. Peace.